went down a rabbit hole
Mm-hmm.
before I did this, and I didn't really get anything out of it. But it was I was like, let me Google TikTok brainwashing. So I did
Okay.
that,
Sure.
and it's just very interesting some of the things that you pull up. So I thought it was very. I'm not a fan of the police, as you could probably imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this video from this very right-wing website, Red Elephants. I
Yeah.
don't even know if I could call them right-wing. They're incredibly centrist in the red direction.
Yeah.
Um, let me know if you can hear my computer audio because I'm going to play a clip.
All right.
Can you hear? Did you
Yep.
hear that?
I did.
Okay. So listen to this. This is
Okay.
from the Red Elephants website, and the article is basically about how TikTok is brainwashing kids. Now, I agree with the message here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very difficult not to agree with what the point that they're trying to make is, because if you just scroll through the website, right?
Yeah.
This is, for instance, and there's videos that accompany this, but TikTok is an audio platform. So here you go. I'm just going to play it in its entirety. And every time you hear the same sound, remember, it's a new clip and the video is just a person scrolling down a feed. So
Yeah.
Bastards. All cops are 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 bastards.
I mean,
All cops
you know what that makes me think of?
It's still going, dude. That was the same feed. That was one person scrolling down their feed, just a regular feed, which, like, again, I like the message, but that is creepy.
That is very creepy. You know what? That makes me think of those YouTube videos, like the kid YouTube videos that are like super weird, where like Spider-Man has sex with Elsa and all that.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That was a big part of the Pizzagate conspiracy, but it was real. That was real. Like, they really did have all those creepy ass videos for kids that kept getting recommended.
Yeah.
They were like grooming videos.
But it was kind of like that. Like, it was kind of like that type of audio and whatever and repetition.
The weird thing is it's all teenagers who are filming themselves hopping on board doing the meme. And I don't really know if that's brainwashing, because, like, I say a lot of memes that I don't believe just because it's funny to say them. But and honestly, I don't really care if everybody does believe that particular meme, but it is really, really interesting just that the way that website is formatted, that it really, you could just hear the same sound effect over and over and over. And that's proven behaviorism. You can train someone to do something just by repeating the same sound over and making cues. You know, you'll start saying all cops are bastards. You know, now I hear that in my head, and you'll start saying it to your friends, and it'll become normalized, and suddenly everyone will hate cops, and then the West will fall apart.
Yep. That's how it happens, man.
We can't have that. Yeah, man, it is really strange. It's a very strange platform with very obviously nefarious purposes. It's also designed worse than a malware. I mean, it's very clear what it is. I'm very sure that it was like a psychological weapon, in at least some respects. Just not even necessarily intentionally, but because, like, imagine if, a foreign nation created and seeded Twitter. We'd be like, Jesus Christ, this thing takes over our brains and makes us all hate one another. So, like, Jack is responsible for creating the same kind of thing. But, it is really oddly nefarious when you just hear the same clip over and over in a very charming voice, and all these dejected children on this website. I don't understand where these people exist, because, like, all of them have half dyed hair in one color, half dyed hair in another color. They all have that neo grunge look that all you do is you put on a lot of glitter and blush that makes you look really sweaty. And I don't understand why girls like that particular look, other than because it gives you a sense of identity and performative depression. But, that's a different story. Anyway, so it's just a strange platform that's like I don't know. It reminds me of Tumblr, because it's not real. Like, nobody, like, in 3 years, nobody whose identity was the thing they were on TikTok will still exist.
Yeah.
It's like Tumblr. It's just a weird place for you to, I don't know, just be really odd and showcase how really odd and different you are. And guys say, go for it. That's great.
Well, it's weird to me when something exists and then, like, within the span of a week, it takes over everything. Because before we knew about TikTok, it was around for like a couple of years. Like, it was a replacement for Vine, which was super popular. Like, legitimately, you know? And then TikTok, all of a sudden, I mean, it was around. People knew about it. Like, there was it was like people were like, oh, there's a replacement for Vine kind of coming up. You know, we don't know about it. And then all of a sudden, it was the big thing. And that is like a huge red flag.
I remember when Vine came out, and my first video that I ever did on Vine was I was at a State University of New York campus in this town of Purchase, New York, and I was gonna go, and I was looking to see if I wanted to go to this college, and that app just hit. Mm-hmm. So me and 3 of my friends were like, all right, let's do our first Vine out here, and you get 6 seconds. So I was like, we're here at Purchase College, your dad's dead, and that's it. And and that was all I did, and I put it out on the internet. And it didn't get that popular, but I that was the first and probably one of 3 Vines I ever made.
What year was that?
And that had to be 2000, because it was pre-college, so it had to be. This was the Obama era, maybe. Okay.
Because like, if you posted that now, everybody's sense of humor is so fucked up. That would be so fucked up. It would be a hit, you know?
Yeah. Your dad's dead. That's it. It was really like, and I was smiling while I said it, because I guess some really malicious idea I had that perhaps somebody would be deeply affected by that, even though I don't know what the point of it was, but it wasn't good. So that's what things like that do to your brain, I guess. And it wasn't my fault, of course. And then TikTok comes along, and I'm 24 years old. I'm not downloading new social media ever. That's social media is an op for young teenagers, and anybody who's over a certain age, you know, unless it's the app, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you have to get those. Everybody has those. But if you're getting these niche apps, I look at you with either great suspicion, or I think you know, what are you really getting? I don't know. It's just great suspicion. What are you getting out of that? And are you getting, because I tried to go on it one time on someone else's phone, and I was like, all right, let me look up the cook stuff for cooking. And it was like, okay, so this is Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it. This happens on Instagram. It's the same thing.
And that's the other weird thing about it, is it's not unique. Like, you can do the exact same thing on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. But
right.
It's weird.
Its design feature is that, unlike any other app, so whoever created it said, how can I generate a website that operates off of the meme principle? Because Twitter is that a little bit, where you have retweets, and retweets are basically what keeps Twitter alive, if we're being honest, because that's how half of the news gets transmitted to us. And I mean, most of the things we're talking about on the timeline are quote tweets or retweets.
Yeah.
That's just the meme principle. People are attracted to seeing different groups of people have the same thought on a particular subject, or reproduce the same thought, because it's either funny or interesting or something like that. So then whoever made TikTok said, now we need to take that to a hyper level and do audio stimulation, visual stimulation. You got comments that are flying at the bottom of the screen as you scroll by. You've got, you know, and it's always pop music. It's always like really hype pop music. It is a dopamine factory. Their algorithm is known to seed people's addictions to it. Like, they'll give you lots of views on a post, and then if you put out a lot of posts, you know, the views don't necessarily pick up. But if you leave for a while, you know, and you come back, then man, you'll get a lot of views on a post. Like, they've already figured all this out. It's made to get you on it, like every other social media, but this one in particular also works with these weird social cues that Twitter only worked with tangentially. But then you literally see people acting out words that other people have said over and over and over and over again. How do babies learn? By imitating people. That's literally psychology. Is the way that human beings transmit everything is through the imitation. So I don't. It's just, I don't know. Isn't that weird?
It's very weird.
Really weird to me. At least with a meme is a creative outlet, as in you're given a template and you can put things on it that express your particular joke on the subject, and maybe you don't even get credit for it. That's the other big thing about memes, is they're largely uncredited. And so, I mean, and uncredited in the sense that even if they are credited, who the fuck looks at the credit? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. So you have that, and that's like one way. It's a creative outlet in the form of a meme. TikTok is a inlet. It's different people's identities being cycled into very few movements and sound effects. It's a homogenizer. It's a centralizer. It doesn't do what a meme should do. It works in kind of in the reverse. It's very strange.
Now, how much stock do you put into it being like an overt Chinese plot?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think there's anything particularly Chinese about it. I'm not calling you out. I'm saying like any government could have made this thing.
Yeah.
Any government could have made this thing. I'm sure many have tried to make them. But yeah, I guess because it's literally government owned.
Yeah.
It's definitely a plot. Of course it is.
Do you think Obama got on the horn with Xi Jinping and was like, dude, we got to do something? You know what I
think
mean?
Trump did.
Trump
I bet you
did?
Trump is. I bet you Trump is. He's on the phone like, my good friend Xi, because, you know, this is all a show. Please take down the brainwashing app, Barron. He can't stop. What are they? I don't literally can't even tell you a popular song on TikTok.
No idea.
He keeps talking about wet pussy. Oh my God. He won't stop. Barron, stop. I can't. I don't know what that kid sounds like. I'm sure it's something.
No,
nefarious.
dude, have you seen him? Like, I'm sure he's got like a Shaq voice. No.
Tell me that kid's not a Nazi, right? Not
really?
in his, who he is, but what he looked like. If they could have crafted the perfect German child, it's Barron Trump. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, I don't know anything about the kid. I'm sure he's perfectly delightful, but he also fits an archetype. You know, I think it would be dishonest to say that he didn't look like a particular kind of kid.
I think he had like a Discord profile or something. He was on like gaming Discords or something.
Dude. And his dad is a hardline conservative. Dude, the kid is definitely alt-right, like the easy kind, like I just say the N-word on Discord servers kind.
No, he had a Roblox. He had a Roblox account.
Holy crap! How tall is this kid?
Oh, he's super tall.
Wow, he shot up.
Uh-huh.
Wow, what a kid. How old is he?
He's like 16, 15,
he's
something
14.
Like that. Really?
This kid
Holy
is
cow.
huge.
Okay,
holy crap. I mean, look at both of his parents are tremendous people. They're tremendous people. And he's on, steroids and adrenochrome and hormones, right?
Yes. He's a vampire.
They're shaping this kid to be the cutie of the 22nd century. Because there's one picture here. I'm going to send it to you. Is there a Zoom chat? How do I send you things?
Yeah, you can send it on Zoom or Twitter.
Okay, here's a Zoom chat. Go take a look at this photograph. It should. Oh, maybe that's not the photograph.
You can do it on Twitter. Okay.
Check that. It should be a particular photograph that comes up. Trump's in the middle. Ivanka's on one side. Barron's on the end.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He's wearing.
I see that.
Dude, this kid dresses like me. This is how I dress. He's wearing it looks like a black bomber jacket, which I literally own that. He has a black t-shirt on, black jeans, and a black belt with no metal buckle. It's a black buckle. This kid dresses exactly the way I dress. He's a cutie pie in this photograph. He's the teen idol of the next century. I'm telling you. This kid is going to be big on the right.
Wait a minute. I'm about to.
He's going to be big on the right.
I'm going to send you something on the Twitter chat.
Okay, the Twitter chat. All right, what do we have here?
Let's see. This is just proving your point. Look at that.
He's the Twitter chat. Oh, let's see.
Let me know if the picture, you'll know it when you see it.
It's giving me an unsafe content warning link, which this is hilarious.
All right, I might save the picture and just send it to you.
Save the picture and send it to me because Twitter literally doesn't want me to see this.
You're gonna love this. Look at that.
Man. All right, let's. Whoa, that's crazy. All right, so this picture, Ivanka's in the middle, and I must say, the woman has a fantastic fashion sense, and that's probably why the kid does too. But look at this coat that she's got on. It's brown and red and black and white. It's all the colors we love. And Trump still dresses like a dickhead. I don't know why he needs to have a vest that's goes down to his knee. And then Barron, no tie. I've never seen he's dressed like an Amish. No tie and a pea coat with. It doesn't even look like it's a Velcro pea coat because I don't see any buttons. Do you?
I see one button at the very bottom. Right.
And it's not buttoned, which makes me believe that is a Velcro pea coat. That is crazy. And he's already as tall as Ivanka in this one. And now he's almost 2 inches taller than his father in one of his pictures. And he's behind his father and he's taller than him. That's crazy. This kid is gonna be something. In this one, he's got a black t-shirt, black polo t-shirt on, long ass legs. This kid has with the black slacks, and he's got white Adidas. This kid knows how to dress.
That's right.
This kid knows how to dress. You remember the old picture of them? Here's another. This is a great one. I had to describe this one in a more interesting way. Ivanka's wearing a white and yellow striped dress. Trump's just dressed like Trump, and behind is Barron, and he's wearing white shorts and a red shirt with a red fish with a white fish in the middle of it, and it's terrible. He really picked up his fashion sense, man. This kid,
go ahead.
Be the president. He could be the president. The chances if you were a president and you have a kid or a nephew. The chances of them becoming president is pretty high.
Yeah.
You look at it. So, we could be seeing
it. What year do you think he's going to run against Chelsea Clinton? Like she's going to be 84.
Chelsea's going to be old as hell. I was going to say.
She's going to be 84 now? And she's going to look great.
Well, listen, I bet she looks fantastic today. Can we admit? I mean, the woman is gorgeous. Just a joke. Oh my God. How old is she? Take a guess.
31.
Wow, that's brutal, dude. She's 40.
She's 40?
She's 40 years old.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I gave her a compliment.
She's 40 years old. I don't know. I would have been like, she had to be at least 54.
She looks pretty bad.
She does, like, I don't know what it, and this is too petty, so I'm going to move on from this. But there's some pictures where she looks tired. Let's just say that. She's sleepy. Which, you know what? If your mother was constantly running through your nightmares, you would be sleepy too. Oh, man. Who else? Bill Clinton. That family's... Okay, here's the thing. Everybody get on this right now on your Google machine. Look up the Clinton family and maybe a Clinton family photo, right? And then let's do on another tab. Let's do a Bush family photo. Okay? And then on one final tab, we'll do a Trump family photo. Okay? So let's just consider all these things. Now make sure you get as many family members as possible. That's really what we're going for here. Okay? I've got it loaded up. Man, the Clinton family is kind of small. I would have thought it was bigger than that. All right, so who out of these families, which one of them is the grossest and which one of them is not the grossest? You first.
Let's see.
Dude, Bush family is the old moneyest family I've ever seen.
Yes.
Wow. This is like a royal family. They look like a royal family.
Well, are they
Holy
not?
crap.
Like,
They are.
basically,
they are.
you know.
I would do Kennedy's, but, Irish Catholic, there'd be 400,000 people in the photograph. So there's the Bushes. Then you have the Clintons, a lot smaller of a group than I actually thought it was. I would have thought it was more people than that. But, man, Chelsea has got some powerful legs. Oof.
Now, when we do this,
that.
for Trump, are we counting Kushner?
Yeah, you got to count Kushner,
Okay.
who's also a handsome guy, but really scary at
He
the same
doesn't
time.
look too good now. Like, he's not
Really?
looking
Is
too
that
good.
The case?
I mean, he's really if all the presidential families before, like, if you were to say they are vampires, you're like, yeah, okay, maybe, but then you look at Kushner and you're like, yeah, yes,
yeah,
he looks like he's from the Out of the Shadows movie.
Yeah, he's
what I'm talking
nefarious
about?
looking. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. So my theory is when you look at what I think is really interesting, take a look at this family photo of the Trumps. They're very tan.
Yes.
Most of them are very tan, except for Kushner, and I believe that's Eric. The rest of them are very tan.
Yeah.
That's obviously for a reason. Obviously.
Yes. Wait, I have a question. In New York, what is the tanning bed situation? Like, is it like a real industry or?
Well, go look up the Cuomo family to answer that question. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of tanning that goes on for sure. Yeah, but I don't think Trump's a tanner. I think he's a sprayer.
Yeah.
Is he not? I don't think that guy sits in a tanning bed. I get claustrophobic.
My Adderall melts.
I can't concentrate. My feet hurt. What that makes me want to Google what are Trump's medical conditions, because I really wonder if that guy has ever had gout.
I thought you were going to Google Trump's gout. Feet.
All right, let's do it. Trump's feet. This episode is going to be us Googling stuff together.
Absolutely.
All right, Trump's feet. Trump's feet. No, not Ivanka, you clowns.
Well, that's what you're going to get. I mean.
Oh, no, dude. There's a picture of Ivanka when she's like 22 and she doesn't have any shoes on and she's wearing a schoolgirl outfit. That's nuts. That's crazy. That's not okay. Here, I'm going to send you that one. Compliments to the chef. Tell me not that is a fantastic photograph. That is adorable.
Where are you sending it?
The Zoom.
Oh.
Zoom. It's a great photo. Really cute. There's a couple of pictures of his shoes.
Oh my God.
Only one. Isn't that adorable, that picture? Look, all right, there's a couple of...
Her legs are 12 feet long.
They are,
damn,
dude.
Man.
Spectacular. They're spectacular. But this is like weird because it's funny because it's half Ivanka when you Google Trump's feet, and then it's half Trump, and it has nothing to do with feet. Donald...
Well, Trump's not going to wear, like, open-toed shoes.
Feet.
Like, never.
No way. Are these really pictures of Donald? Oh, that's Donald Trump Jr.'s feet. Oh, brother, that's brutal.
That's rough.
You want to take a look at these honkers?
Absolutely.
Okay. Take a look at these. So this is, I guess, a picture of Don Jr. and his lady taking a cute photograph, except they both kind of like shrimp feet. Wow, that's disgusting. Holy moly.
Wow.
Isn't that gross?
That is not great.
What is this? Has this man never been on a beach? Jesus Christ. I can't find a picture of our president's feet. I guarantee you if I Google Obama's feet, you'll find 25 pictures. Yeah, there's billion pictures of Obama's feet because Obama would take his shoes off. he was the kind of guy who would take his shoes off. Wow, that is something else.
Well, I'm not finding George W. Bush's feet.
No Bush feet. How about you know whose feet you're gonna find? Clinton's feet. Here we go. Oh no! Are those Hillary Clinton's feet? Oh, I'm gonna be sick. Here, take that in the Zoom. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, Google Hillary Clinton's feet.
But before we get off of, oh my god,
Aren't those
that's
some
bad,
horrendous,
dude? That is
It looks like she needs to stop. Listen,
she needs to
Hills,
cut down on the salt.
Yes, that's what I was literally about to say. Hill Dog, you got to cut down on that fast food you and Bill been eating. You can't keep getting heart transplants from young children. She has got some blown up toesy woesies. Oh my goodness.
Before we get off of the call, I'm going to copy all of these links and put them in the show notes.
You have to. Oh yeah, you have to do that. So while you're doing that, I'm going to continue to marvel at. Man, this is horrendous. She's got some bad feet. So now let's try Bill's feet. See, Bill's been on a beach. Oh, Bill has some normal feet, oddly. Not that strange. Anybody you want to know whose feet? Oh, yes. Here we go. Jeff Epstein's feet. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
I don't see any of his feet. God, that guy was.
Well, because he was always wearing like Versace shoes and shit.
He was. That guy. Can I say that dude has had an eclectic fashion sense? You see some pictures of. There's one like Jeffrey Epstein as Monster Energy drinks. It's a famous Twitter thread. It is spectacular, and it's all just different colors of Monster Energies, and it's just him in different jackets.
Yeah,
it's really strange. What else do we got here? That Obama's feet. Man, Obama's feet are gross.
Really?
Wow. Oh man, they're like, yeah, they look like pears. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not good.
Pear-like. What else do we got? Bill Gates' feet. Tell me one more. Bill Gates' feet. No, nothing. That guy wouldn't be caught dead with his feet out. Oh my God! Oh no! I found a really great photo. Please take this in the Zoom, and everybody needs to go and look at this one because there's no way to describe this other than what it is.
Let's see.
It's Bill Gates. I think is that. I don't know who the other two of them are.
What am I looking at? All right, I've been taken to wikifeet.com. Okay.
That's Bill Gates just leaning over, I guess.
Are they having espresso?
They are having espresso on a beach. On the beach, these fucking bourgeois. This is amazing. I would do that any day. And it actually doesn't even look like a beach. It looks like a private island because it's palm trees coming out of the sand. Wow, that's spectacular.
Where do you think that photo was taken? Like
Epstein's Island, you know exactly where it was taken. I guarantee on the other side of that is that fucking temple to the Canaanite gods.
You see in that picture, his wife is the smart one because she's hiding her feet in the sand.
Yeah, those feet are dug in, huh?
Well, she knew what we were going to be doing, and she prepared for it.
What is with his little pose there? He's like really ducking in. Like shouldn't you be a little more authoritative than that if you're you?
You would think.
Guy creeps me out.
Absolutely. Now Google Soros feet.
No way. No. Oh no. If you Google Soros feet, the prots are going to have me for this one. Check that in the fucking Zoom chat. Oh no. Oh, Francis, what on earth? It's Pope Francis washing George Soros's feet. And now listen, Jesus washed feet. So, all right, we wash people's feet. I'm not a Nazi. Not a Nazi adjacent. You gotta when do you know what the problem is? Pope Francis, as well as probably everybody in his immediate circle, have absolutely no idea what this looks like to people like us. They all look at George Soros like, yes, a guy with lots of money and power. We get on his good side and, he'll help us out. And we're like, this guy eats kids, drinks blood. I bet you they don't even know. Well, actually, there's probably a lot of people going, he's doing it too, to which I will not give comment. Regardless, so you could see his feet. And let me tell you one thing about George Soros's feet. Perhaps that's why he's lived for so long. Guy that clearly doesn't consume a lot of salt. He's got some very nice old man feet. Let's admit. We have to admit that. We have to? I don't know. Those feet don't look too swollen up to me.
They do not look.
Anybody else? What about the Koch brothers?
The Koch brothers' feet.
Koch
Kato
brothers
feet.
Kato feet. Koch brothers' feet. You can say a lot of things about the Koch brothers. One thing you can't say, there's no pictures of their feet anywhere. The
Republicans are smart about their feet. What can I say?
Much more. Yeah, they're definitely thinking it more ahead of that. Wow. I had to tell you, I didn't think we would start this by talking about people's feet. I'm glad we're here.
I know.
I'm really glad we're here.
I do have some questions for you.
Oh, sure. That's great. While you do that, I'm probably going to take us off topic in various directions, just so you're prepared.
Well, on the Dissecting Liberty world famous Discord, I said, hey, I'm going to have Bird on pretty soon.
Oh, man.
Do y'all have any questions?
Oh, yes.
And I got some philosophy questions and some general life questions and some social media questions. So,
okay, I'll try.
Okay, well,
give it a shot.
Here's the first
of all,
one. Oh, go ahead.
Shout out to the Dissecting Liberty Discord.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you guys. Keep dissecting. Keep liberating.
Hell yeah.
And keep memeing, and get it out of your system now, because 2021 we respect women again. That's how the Mayan calendar is telling us what to do. That, not me.
And I gotta say, speaking of memeing, my co-host is on his honeymoon right now. So
shout out.
This is now screw him. This is Cotton Week.
Okay, this is Cotton Week.
This is Cotton Week. I've done 3 episodes, just me. I
just did my laundry today, my cotton sheets, and I put them back on, and I'm gonna have a nice sleep today. So that'll be for you, Cotton.
Hell yes, you're welcome. I just want to say that you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
So the first question from Anarcho Mustachist is, what do you think is going to happen after the election? Not politically, but just culturally.
Oh man, I got to draw out 2 scenarios here, because it really depends on who gets elected.
Yeah.
Donald gets elected. It's going to be a lot more of the same for a little while. It'll probably get really hot again, but I actually think Trump is probably the safer solution. But I don't know. And so I think you'll probably see what you saw in 2016. You'll see a little more of, but with a much more refined message and target. Like this time around, the left is much more coordinated. I mean, they're protesting every day still. That's not going to end before the election. So that's just going to keep going. So it's either going to grow in size, or I don't know. If Biden gets elected, this is the more interesting one for me. If Biden gets elected, well, first of all, if Biden gets elected, it'll be a true feat, because Donald Trump has done everything in his power to slow the mail, and so, which I think is fucking crazy, by the way. That's something that is a fascist tactic, and I don't mean to say it because it's like, oh, he's a fascist, but it's like that is a tactic that every fascist the world over has used, because it really works. It's a really easy system when you start controlling the mail to do things like that. Anyway, Biden wins. They've already been gearing up to say that Iran and China have been supporting Biden. They're already gearing up their own hacking narrative. You can Google those things. I don't, right-wingers are going to be pissed because they're going to systematically start undoing every single thing Donald Trump did. And if you better believe that the minute the next Democrat gets elected, they're going to be removing things that Trump did, or the things that Trump did are already in line with the message they always wanted to have, which is like about probably 70% of his platform to begin with, because they're not that different, the two parties. But yeah, I think you'll see a lot more unrest if Biden gets elected, because they got a whole new, there's no Russiagate narrative. Right now, they've got the mail narrative. And I guess if if they run that male narrative and there's any ground to it at all, like you have a serious case that you could start doing like real Antifa stuff.
Yeah.
Like there would be real anti-fascist stuff going on. Because I don't know, would you agree with me that if we found out that the sitting president, which he is doing right now, is slowing the mail, and that would drastically affect the voting results, assuming anybody takes the voting results seriously, which I guess we have to assume that for this. But wouldn't you agree that that's like, first of all, not something his powers should be allowed to do, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
Right? And then second of all, totally a tactic we've seen before that leads to way worse things, right? Those are both reasonable things to say.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's very spooky.
You either got an even greater case that he's a fascist, so that's going to just fuel more protests on the left, or Biden gets elected and it's going to get really kooky because China's going to get involved in this. You know, that narrative Q is going to spin out of control if things like that happen. And then all the stuff, of course, about Biden is going to remember all the stuff about Biden is going to start getting leaks out. That's the other thing, is they have so much on Biden already, obviously. I mean, Biden is, I was reading something yesterday that Biden did that was really, really crazy. I wish I could remember it, but it had something to do with, he was responsible for like blocking a particular bill that, you know, it was one of those things where you'd read it and you'd go, oh man, he only did that because he's deep in somebody's pocket. It was like an adjustment on either an age of consent law or something. It was something where you're like, well, what is that doing for you? So he's a nefarious character, and lots is going to start coming out about him. So either way, you're going to have a lot of chaos, I think.
Yeah. And I think a lot of, because a hell of a lot of our listeners would describe themselves as ANCAPs, you know, so,
Sure.
and when you talk about the mail, a lot of people are like, whatever, you know, it's USPS, you know, like, who cares if it's slowed down, you know, screw them, it's the government, but like, it's scary.
I mean,
that the president
within the game, within the rule, if you were going, if everything about the basketball game was the same, except that Shaq was able to walk with the ball.
Yes.
You would look at that and you would go, you wouldn't be scared because it would have no direct ramifications on your life, but you'd look at it and go, that's strange that he's the only one who's able to do that.
Yeah.
That seems like that would benefit him. And he's already the biggest guy on the field. So yeah, it does matter for voting. If you don't think voting matters, then really, I don't, you know, none of this matters. Whatever. But if you accept any part of that game, then him being able to control the post office is huge, as they might say. There you go.
Okay. So the next question from Callie is, what are your thoughts on egoism?
Oh man, the Randian kind is I don't like.
Yeah. Let's not even consider that.
Yeah, the Randian kind I don't like because I don't, you know, it's. I mean, and it's not for unfair reasons. I've done my Aristotle, you know, I've read through Aristotle. I don't really follow that stuff too much. So that's more why. And also the hyper-capitalism stuff is, you know, it's, I guess the aesthetic is dope. And she wrote some pretty killer books. I read Anthem. Anthem is awesome. All right. So then Stirner. Stirner's the other kind. These are two diametrically different kinds of egoism because Stirner's a post-structuralist. Stirner's okay. And egoism. Well, I guess it comes down to, can a human being perform an altruistic act, which really gets down to what is the definition that we're using for altruism? Is it the Aristotelian kind of altruism, you know, the Kantian kind, or Rand's kind, which is an absolute kind where it's a situation where an individual does something and not only doesn't expect to receive benefit, but does not benefit. That's the absolutist kind. If you want to define it that way, then I think first of all, you'd have to convince me that that's the only kind of altruism, because ultimately what is altruism? You have to experience it, right? After the fact, you go, that was an act that I did that felt selfless. Everybody feels that. Everybody knows when they do a selfless act. Everybody does. You experience it, you know you're doing it, you accept it, and you move on with it. Everybody knows that. The other kind would be not defining it that way, but defining it as, standing to gain less than the other person, or standing to lose some but gain some kind of gratification, right? Like an emotional gratification. Like that's the other thing people say is ultimately the argument would boil down to, in the Randian kind, the absolutist kind, would be something like, well, I just gave like $500 to charity. And you look at me and you go, well, how did that make you feel? And you go, well, I feel good that I'm helping other people. And they go, aha, that's not altruism. That's selfishness. And I think that's a really pedantic point more than anything else. So that's what I think about it. I mean, if that's egoism to the core, is that ultimately your ethics should be dedicated towards, primarily satisfying the ego first and foremost, that's both Stirner and Rand. Both kinds are still pretty much centered around that. I would just say it's a little pedantic. And if you want to live that way, I can't tell you not to, but like, I'm not the kind of guy who argues with other people's life philosophies anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you want to live that way, I'll be whatever, man. As long as I'm nowhere near it and you don't brainwash my kids into doing it, we don't have a problem.
Yeah. Do you think TikTok is an egoist platform?
No, TikTok is definitely a behavioralist nightmare for sure. It's definitely biological.
What was the guy before Skinner? Oh, who said?
I was gonna say Skinner is the,
but not Skinner, but the guy before him that said like, oh, give me 100 kids in an island. This is what he said: give me 100 kids in an island, and I can make you one banker, one thief, one whatever.
Well, that sounds like Thomas Aquinas, because Thomas Aquinas has a quote like that.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I just Googled that. I remember there's a Thomas Aquinas quote that said, give me a child who's a toddler and I can teach them basically whatever you want me to. Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to B.F. Skinner, by the way. Influences: Pavlov, Darwin, Mach, Loeb, James, Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Uh-oh. That's one of those names that, I didn't get that far into liberalism to be like, have to consider his ideas. I was like, I got Locke, right? And then I was like, that's all I need. I don't need more liberals, right? Like He rounded all the theory out. And then from there I was like, okay, so now we just need to figure out how to make this shit work. I didn't need to go to him, but apparently people really hate that guy, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was like an anarcho-syndicalist, basically. So.
Well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? And as far as it adds spice to this otherwise useless life, I mean, we don't actually think any of our theories are going to win, right?
Well, see, but Rousseau's issue was he was like, if you don't want to be an anarcho-syndicalist, oh, too bad. We're gonna force you to, So that's the issue. And
okay.
And
that sucks.
Look into his. I think it's called Emile, like his book he wrote on how to raise a child. It is bad shit.
Oh no!
I mean, it's like starve if they disrespect you, starve them for a week.
Oh my god!
Shit like that. It is crazy.
Man, that's old school, right?
Oh yeah.
You shouldn't starve your kid for a week. I mean, like a day, maybe. Like you take away,
yeah.
You're not getting dinner tonight. And if they're like, man, I need to eat, I'll be like, fuck. That's right. You need to eat. I can't just stop you from eating. Oh man, if only you could. If only you could. What an easy world it would be. We could just live in a world where everyone did what I said. Or what Barron said. Sorry.
See, to like, you have to explain to your kid that scarcity exists. So that's how starving them becomes a punishment.
Sure. Let me go back to it just for 1 second. Listen, if you like egoism, please enjoy yourself. Yes, and because people will be like really upset if you're like, you don't like the thing that I believe.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand, because like I frequently run into people who don't like the things that I believe, and I at that point I don't respond to most people.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's not like I'm going to tell you what to do.
Yeah. So we got another question from a real big loser.
Shout out.
Yeah, Ted from Crowdfunded Government. Real big loser.
Shout out.
He asked your thoughts on post-Austrian economics.
Oh, he tweeted that at me today. So I think it was Carr Campit who summed up post-Austrian economics, and I actually think that there's ground to the notion behind what he posted. I'm not sure if I can find it. It's good. It was very good. So I think what we discovered was in post-Austrian economics, it's actually that Austrian economics is correct, except that money isn't real. And so the minute that people stop believing in it, it has no power anymore. So it's all Austrian economics until the moment that everybody goes, wait, this shit isn't real. And then it stops being economics altogether. And then, I don't know, I guess we transcend. I would hope.
I think after it stops being, and people argue with me about this, but I think after it stops being economics, it just becomes psychology.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, after it becomes, well, if we hit truly honest, well, here's the serious point. If we hit post scarcity, I don't know what it's going to be, because it's not going to be needs. It might not even be wants, because at some point you could probably just get everything you want. So I guess it would have to be, I don't know. I just imagine by that point you'd plug yourself into a machine and exist in your own universe. Right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing people haven't considered. It's really, post-scarcity is a lot easier to reach if it looks, instead of it looking like we could produce anything we want, it looks a lot easier to do if we can hack into people's brains and give them inseparable realities where they're able to control things however they want and create their own post-scarce mini-universes. So I feel like the Matrix is a much easier way to reach post-scarcity than actually doing it materially. So I'm pretty sure that's where we're headed.
Yeah, and that's the issue you're going to run into with a lot of ANCAPs, is like the post-scarcity idea.
Yeah, that's why because as far as I understand it, economics isn't real, so I don't want to have that debate. All I know is the minute that you can plug yourself into a machine that delivers you all the taste, smell, visual, because they got Did you know this? They got robots that can carry conversations. This is insane. They have AI. GPT-3, I've been having conversations with it for about 2 months now. It's more real than half the people I've met on the internet. Now, if they could just make strawberries appear in my mouth, in my brain, then that's it. I don't need anything else. So you guys can worry about economics out there. I'm plugging up.
So what I'm hearing is that Bird would take the blue pill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's the thing that's revealed when you get to a certain point. Is you will die or take the blue pill. So, you just have to salvage what you can in the meanwhile. Or you can go and live in the woods, and hopefully they don't find you, which really shout out to you, because that's my other option.
Okay, so now I got a couple of direct philosophy questions, like a bit of history of philosophy.
Oh man, okay. We'll see what I can do.
Well, I mean, and it's to you personally, like your opinions.
Oh, okay.
So for again from Anarcho Mustachist, he said, to you, who is the most relevant modern philosopher?
Oh, modern philosopher? That's super interesting.
I guess let's say the last 20 years.
Oh, I was gonna say because modern's pretty big period.
Yeah.
Let me do modern first, because I think modern is really interesting. Marx is certainly still very relevant today because people won't stop bringing him up. And I think Rand is incredibly relevant and always has been. I think the two of them are very, very relevant still to this day. As far as modern philosophers who's things they believed we're seeing play out in real time, it's the two of them for sure. And then in the last 20 years, who do I think is the most relevant philosopher of the last 20 years? It's Chomsky, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, manufacturing consent is no joke. He's I don't know if he penned that in the last 20 years, but he's been pushing that line in the last literally a year ago. Chomsky's definitely one of them. Which is crazy because that dude's about 800 years old.
Now, this isn't a question somebody submitted, but with modern philosophers, what do you think about Zizek? Who is like, if I had to guess, he was like 30 years old, but he looks like the same age as Chomsky, you know?
Yeah. Zizek is a really good writer. He's not a good speaker, but I don't blame him for it.
Yeah.
Seems like he has trouble speaking to begin with. He's a good writer. He's a really good theologian, which is interesting. And he's not even that much of a modernist. Like it's interesting because he's a very relevant philosopher that he appears in a lot of writings critiquing like Foucault and Deleuze, like people that I've been reading recently, Heidegger. Yeah. So it's interesting because it's good to get like a literally like yesterday guy's perspective. Like oh my God, he wrote this article yesterday about this person. It's good to get that. And he engages a lot and he's much more open than I think he appears to be on YouTube. Like he's did a whole argument about like an argument with a Catholic theologian about like the symbology of the cross. It was really, really interesting. So he's I used to think he was kind of a dummy because like all you see is him on YouTube arguing with, Jordan Peterson and things like that. And it doesn't showcase how intelligent that guy actually is. So I'm a big fan in that, again, he's like a spice of life guy. I don't agree with him, but honestly, the world might be more boring without him, even if he's convincing people of bad ideas, because honestly, those people would probably be convinced of bad ideas anyway.
Yeah.
So at least it's a charming communicator.
Well, that's like an issue I have with a lot of quote unquote ANCAPs is you can find somebody incredibly interesting and not agree with them. Like on a recent podcast I did with Derek from Burning Boots, we were talking about Marx, and I said, "Hey, dude, I'm using a Marx book as a coaster for my beer right now. Like I got it. It's with me. I'm reading it. It's interesting, but I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree with everything he's saying, but I can read it.
I really also have to tell you, I think people, first of all, people are far too jumpy about the word capitalism.
Yeah.
Because even if you call yourself an anarcho-capitalist, first of all, the term you're using, it was adapted later than the term they're using. I mean, we could show you books from the 40s where the capitalism that is being talked about is not a conception that exists today. But that's not the important argument. The important argument is you have to know what they're saying, right? And I mean, like, you have to know they're not talking about us in particular, unless they're specifically talking about us, right? Like if it's you thinking, you go, well, they can't be talking about me because they're talking about megacorps and Mark Zuckerberg and, the Koch brothers. Like people are vaguely sometimes.
They're talking about like FDR,
Yeah.
It's just not the same definition.
Yeah, it's not. So I guess people are very jumpy about that, but that made me lose track of what the original point was. What was the original question?
You finished the question.
Okay, good.
I just brought up something else.
Well, no, because I think I said, first of all, people are too jumpy about capitalism, and then there was another one, and that was the more important one. Oh, no, yeah. It's just know that when they're saying that, they really do mean global. I mean, look, they don't like you either, trust me. Yeah. But you're not who they're talking about 95% of the time. They're talking about global capitalism, consumerism, overproduction. Like they're talking about like the things that even we look at and we cringe at. We go, that's gross. That doesn't work. Talking like I'm an ANCAP, I say we. I'm trying to. I'm ingratiating myself.
You're being diplomatic.
I'm trying.
Let's say that.
I'm trying. I'm not a capitalism hater, by the way. I'm not a capitalism. I'm a capitalism distruster. I will say that. I look at it with a modicum of suspicion, but it appears to be a better economic operating form than standing in a line and waiting for a chair to be given to me.
So, speaking of Derek, he asked, "Do you think we should ally more with anarcho-communists or statist right libertarians?" That's obviously related to the
Pete question.
Yeah.
I see they took neoliberal out because that was the one that I already said there's no way we could ally with them. because I firmly believe that we cannot ally with neoliberals. People were like, economics. I'm like, I know. They're also brainwashing you and putting you into a box that makes you think you're free until you realize you're not, and then you capitulate. Just take the blue pill. So out of the two of those groups, right authoritarians or anarcho-communists, I think I said you're literally stuck between terrorists and Nazis.
Yeah. So don't ally.
You have to choose, right?
Yeah.
If you have to choose anarcho-communists, 100% of the way. Yeah, I could never ally with an authoritarian. I would rather, I would rather have the illusion that I'm fighting the bad guy and becoming a bad guy than just being the bad guy. Like, I'd rather, I don't know, if I was like, because so I guess the question is the dichotomy of if it's those two groups fighting, right?
Yeah.
I cannot go on the right authoritarian side. I think the original question Pete did was like a society, or like we should ally more with this group's visions of things. And people are like, well, right, because of the culture. And it's like, but that authoritarian thing means that there's even less room for difference in culture. So you're going to be getting pushed one way or the other. So I don't know. I think the authoritarian thing seems more important to me. So yeah, I'm going ancoms. Man, you couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
They're dude, insane. Can I tell you, and no one else is listening.
Right.
In my neighborhood, I saw an Antifa kid. They're real.
Yeah.
I saw one. Let me explain to you what this kid looked like. He was, first of all, white as snow, because they all are. I mean, white as snow as in like an albino. Like he was white and he had blonde hair, shortcut hair, like the guy. No, the guy from the Cro-Mags is bald. He had really short punkish hair. He was blonde. And he was wearing painter's pants. You know those painter's pants with the loop that all these fucking leftists wear because they pretend like they buy them from thrift stores and not on Amazon. So he was wearing those. He was wearing beat up Adidas. I mean, this kid came out of an Instagram page for sure. He had a purple and black mask on and he had mascara and eyeliner on. And a shirt on that was tucked into the painter's pants and then slightly pulled out on the sides for that balloon effect that all these freaking e-boys have. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've been on e-boy Instagram one time, this kid was pulled out of one of these pages.
Yeah, I was going to say he's exactly how I would have described him, having not really seen him, you know.
Oh, and he had blush on his cheeks. You know, I'm telling you, it was exactly what you would imagine.
Now wait a minute. You're calling him a he, but like, did you ask his pronouns?
That's true. That's a fair point. I don't know it. I didn't know. They were a strange looking human for sure.
Yeah, that didn't even save you. They could have been elf kind or something.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been anything. No, but really, like that was a kid who and that's the affliction that they have that really rubs me the wrong way. Is this is the kind of kid who would burn down, like, you know, a mom and pop shop owned by a family that, you know, came from absolutely nothing from a foreign country. They'd burn it down. And then afterwards, they might even find out whether that's the place that they burned down in the name of, you know, anti-corporatism and outrage. And they wouldn't feel remorse about it because that kind of individual is much more ready to justify their own shittiness. Whereas seriously, a Nazi does not justify his own shittiness. He doesn't think it's shitty. Like, he really believes it. And so they're both incredibly nefarious. Like, they're both really creepy to me. And that's why I don't, you know, you got to be a tanky or you have to be in the lower right. Those are the only two consistent ideological positions, because they're the only two positions where people eventually just go, can we fucking try something that works?
Yeah.
Can we have one message that makes sense? And then Nazis are like, Yeah, we got a standard message, and we really believe all the shitty parts of it. And by the end of it, nobody but us is alive. And then on the ANCOM side, it's like there's nobody else but us. Like we turned everyone else into us because we use TikTok and we all dress the same and and we all talk the same. And so we're just one person. Neither of those movements sounds like a good way to go out to me.
Yeah.
Neither of those. You're brainwashed either way, right? So here's the question, though I don't really consider myself lower right. But if I had to, if I had to pick one of the quadrants, then I'm definitely lower right. I'd rather be lower center. Lower right. Are we brainwashed? Like, because I can look at either direction that's adjacent to us and go, those two groups at their extreme are extremely brainwashed. Is that the case in the lower right?
Man, I've been on TikTok and they've been pushing all that Rothbard down my throat, so I'm very brainwashed.
Well, there you go. There you go. Proof is in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. Rothbard.
That's right.
Next question.
Well, we've been going for about an hour. You down to record for a little bit longer?
Oh, yeah, sure. I could go another 30, 35, 40. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Sure.
Let's
keep throwing them at me.
Hell yeah.
I'll tend to ramble on questions, as you'll know. So unless you whip me into saying, all right, give me a quick answer. And then, unless you do that, I need more time.
Okay. Well, let's do another 30 then. Let's see cool. Here. Anarcho-Mustachist asked, what's one of your favorite conspiracy theories? And I know that's
wow,
that's super open-ended.
So oh my God. All right. So listen, this is a serious one because all right. I don't know how to put this, but so I don't really have a favorite conspiracy theory because I don't view it to really be that much of a conspiracy theory, but I really do like some aspects of alternative archaeology. I think that the idea that the Younger Dryas was only a few months long and that it was a massive period where a lot of myths about religions were formed. A lot of people in a certain community would call it a conspiracy theory. I don't, but I think it's really interesting. And then the Charlie Manson stuff from Tom O'Neill's book is good. But here's what I was doing yesterday. I went down a rabbit hole that I just don't quite understand. We began by it was Howie Snowden. Shout out to Howie. He threw a picture into the DMs, and it was like, Carrier CC is a neo-reactionary combination of, and it was like a lot of really big words, right? A lot of really huge words. And he was like, I am determined to figure out what the hell this tweet means. And I was like, all right, that's a challenge. It was a lot of philosophy words, right? So I broke it down and I figured out what it was. And it was referring to a specific movement of people who know themselves, at least from what we knew at the beginning, as hashtag Kalia CC. Kalia CC. So we're like, what the hell is Kalia CC? I Googled it. You get a couple of really weird things when you Google it. You get a couple of threads from Paranormal on 4chan, and I started digging through those. And Kalia CC, when I Google it, was a lot of people going, what is Kalia CC? I don't understand what this is. Kalia CC. So I was like, okay, so I'm not the only person who doesn't know what this is. And then there were other people going, don't worry about what Kalia CC is. It doesn't matter. You want to know what Kalia CC is? Ask Mia. So this name Mia kept showing up. Mia. So I started Googling Kalia CC Mia. I got to another thread, another paranormal thread, and I got in the thread, and it was a thread that was full of Rocco's basilisks. If you don't know what Rocco's basilisk is, I definitely suggest you pause this, Google it. Before you do that, I've got to give you a content warning. It involves a thing where if you learn about what it is, you die. So if you get creeped out by stuff like that, don't learn about it. But if you want to learn about it, Rocco's basilisk, go Google it. I'm going to explain it now. You can skip ahead, 2 minutes if you don't want to learn. It's basically this concept that's the same as Pascal's wager. It's the idea that a supreme entity, once an individual becomes aware of the existence of a supreme entity, that individual is incentivized to act to that supreme entity's end. Because if they don't do that, then that supreme entity will punish them. There's a lot of problems with this, obviously, of course. The idea with this particular Rocco's basilisk is it was formed in this rationalist community, and it was a rationalist thought experiment. It's widely decried now, but it was interesting at the time. Anyway, so this whole thread is full of Rocco's basilisks, pictures that go, when you read this, when you sub-vocalize the term virus 23, the virus has entered your body. And it goes on and explains this. I'm like, what in the hell is this? Keep scrolling down. And eventually it goes, Mia, it's something like Mia is the basilisk. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I keep Googling, and eventually I find something that's a little telling. It's something like somebody breaks the wall for a second, which you're not supposed to do on paranormal. That's a big no-no. Somebody breaks the wall and goes, and I don't know if you edit your episodes here, but I'm going to use some language that I'm not proud that I have to use, but I have to use it. Mia is a who won a contest on 4chan and now is bullying Land's disciples on Twitter. It was something to that effect. The term kept coming up. And because it's 4chan.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let's Google Mia Kalia CC. I do that, and I find a profile at Mia _BPD. And I go, okay. Oh, there's a big part of this that matters. There's a picture of this person I put in quotes. And on the paranormal threads, it was this person with a very bloody nose and a beaten up face, many different pictures of this person all beaten up. It was part of the paranormal thread. It was making it really creepy. I was like, who is this Mia person? I see the same person with one of the same pictures on this profile, Mia BPD. This profile doesn't exist anymore. It was suspended. It has on it, I'm autistic. I have bipolar disorder. I'm 19 years old. My pronouns are she, her, blah, blah, blah. It has Kalia CC on it. And I'm like, okay, well, we found our thread. It's a suspended account, so I got into the archives, and I made a couple of connections. So apparently, what we discovered was that this Mia person was one member of this group called Kalia CC. Kalia CC, in Googling this, led me to another person who is attached to Mia's profile, a person who still exists, who I please don't, you can go and scroll this guy's profile, but don't mention I mentioned this person, because this is like a weird can of worms that I'm not sure if this person even remembers. This is just in passing. This was years ago, this stuff I was moving through. And this person at Vedic Cyber God is another member of Kalia CC, and he or she, I don't know who it is, lists out like 50 to 100 commandments or something like that. And they're all commandments about how you should live, blah, 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 from this theory called Kali Yuga. So I go, Kali Yuga. Okay, Kalia CC. Kali Yuga. Okay, fine. Kali Yuga. But this guy's something else too. The CC part is it's actually Kali CACC for acceleration. Now let me explain to you what I found once I discovered that. There is a movement that stems from 4chan it's really hard to explain this if you haven't been on 4chan, but it was and I wish I could pull the quotes up, but this freaking DM chain was deleted. Quotes like Kali Yuga accelerationism is a eclectic blend of memers, old fags, summer fags, gym bros, femboys, Nazis. It was like all these really odd groups put together. And the goal of the group, at least in some respect, is to bring back this weird, and they call it schizo-autism. I saw many people reference and call this thing Kali Yuga schizo-autism. And if you look at some of the tweets from these people, it makes a lot of sense. There's like something strange about it. So I keep looking through these tweets, and I find two really interesting things. These people are delusions. Like, I just did a whole episode on Deleuze. These people are like postmodern, neo-reactionary right-wingers who believe in Aryan migration theory, in a very extreme form of Aryan migration theory, that Nordic people from a great civilization of the past invaded India and created Hinduism. And so these people are like vaguely Hindu. And so but they don't do yoga. They don't believe in reincarnation, because these are all things that don't appear in the Rig Veda. They're later incarnations. So they only believe in early Hinduism. But they're also, do you know who Nick Land is, Cotton?
No.
Nick, do you know who Curtis Yarvin is?
Yes.
So Curtis Yarvin, Mencius Moldbug, some people might know him as. Nick Land is sort of if you had to think of a movement of thinkers, there's Yarvin's sector of people, and then there's Land's sector of people in the neo-reactionary movement. Land is known more for race politics, much more into genetics and, stuff like that. So he's a I wouldn't call him alt-right. Alt-right is like, not, these people play on a way different conceptual sphere than the alt-right. These people are like esoterists, and that's what they are. They're esoteric people. They don't think in straight lines. They think in very strange directions. And the whole movement of the group the whole point of the group was to bring back the original untamed nature. That was the original spirit of 4chan. That's what I read. That was the point of this philosophy, was these people are insane, and half of them are autistic, and they say this in their bios, and half of them have bipolar disorder, and they say this in their bios, and they're race realist, vaguely Hindu, internet 4chan users from the old fag days, like in 2006, 7, like early 4chan these people are, and then like modern neo-Nazis, white supremacists and nationalists, gym bros, femboys, like literally everything that existed on 4chan back in the day. I'm sure a lot of my old 4chan users are like, man, I remember that Untamed. That was the Wild West back in the day, dude. It was the Wild West. So that's what these people wanted to do. At least that's vaguely what I picked up in one sense. And then they also have this really strange Hindu philosophy that's also like vaguely Meninist. And also, you know what I mean? Like it's all those really like odd, it's very strange. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just, sometimes you find the weirdest shit on the internet. This strange, and these people are not LARPing. This Vedic Cyber God account, not only is this Vedic Cyber God account like massive, as in like it has a lot of tweets, but like I've seen other people reference this guy before. Like I have people that I follow that guy. Like he's big enough, like in an intellectual sense, it seems like people seem to like follow that guy a little bit, or gal, whoever it is. And it's just so weird. It's just weird. The things you find on the internet, man. These people are like the biggest brains, I think, right? Like these are some of the biggest brains on the internet. It's crazy how big people's brains are on the internet. Crazy. So that was a dizzying whirlpool for me. It took 2 hours for me to figure all this out. It was absurd.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
Absolutely insane. Oh no, there's no to listen. This was a DM chain that I can't get up. Otherwise, I would post the pictures of it because it's so absurd. I'd love to get all my links back. Yeah. I sent it to Ted. Absurd Nihilism. I sent it to him, and he was like, "This is a gold mine. What you found here is a gold mine. It's crazy. We managed to find Mia's archived tweets. It's like the most posting edge stuff. It's amazing. And apparently she got kicked off of Twitter because she was bullying Nick Land, which is really awesome, I think. I don't know, although pretty sure she said something like homosexuals like need to be shocked back into normal. So I don't know. Even though she's trans, like but then again, she has bipolar disorder, so I don't know what she's dealing with on the inside. So whatever the case.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is, you've just given me a lot to look up. Yeah, like I'm gonna have to go back and listen to what you're talking about and just be Googling the entire time.
Here, listen to this. Let's do so. Kali Yuga, just so we know, it's one of the 4. It's the last stage the world goes through as the part of the cycles is described. Oh, I didn't actually look up Kali Yuga. This is good. Strife, discord, quarrel, or contention. It's associated with the demon Kali. It began based on the starting year 3102 BCE and has a duration of 432,900 years. Oh my God. So we are in Kali Yuga, and that does not end for a long time. So we're in the final stage of the world before the end of the world, as far as what the Hindus say. So I guess they're apocalyptists, right? Wouldn't they be that? Now the dark age of Kali Yuga has come. Plant the name of the one Lord. It is not the season to plant other seeds. Do not wander lost in doubt and delusion. Okay, that was a Sikh interpretation of the Kali Yuga. Oh my God, somebody found it. White supremacists embrace accelerationism. Oh boy. I guess these people want to get the Kali Yuga over with. Oh boy, that's great. Oh, there's lots of art. There's a Medium article about it. Oh man, maybe we should do a round 2 where we go and explore these people's beliefs based on some of these articles here. I'm sure they're very, very together and fair.
Absolutely.
Oh man, this is crazy. Wow. Okay, I'm going to be down another rabbit hole, Cotton. This is a little bit nuts.
Well,
there you go. So that fascists, I don't know. They're not fascists. I don't know. Are they? Maybe. Hindu, vaguely Hindu, right-wing accelerationists on the internet in a very small sphere. And this one character, Mia, who got suspended and I guess got deified on 4chan Supernatural by becoming one of Rocco's basilisks. I don't know. It's very odd. And that's the kind of thing I did at 2 a.m. and will continue to do.
And I'm sure no substances were involved, right?
Well, it's all because of Howie. So whatever substances there were that were involved, I just had to finish it. I just had to get it over with.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I don't have any other questions that are closed ended, So let's go ahead and wrap up. And so just give your plugs.
Oh, man. All right. So check out the podcast, The Rollo and Slappy Show. You can find that on Twitter, SoundCloud, the internet. Me and my co-host, Slappy, we go around. We bully people into buying things that they don't want to buy.
Tractors.
And we talk a lot about tractors. So follow me at Rollo McFlugel. Follow my co-host at Slappy Jones, too. Thanks a lot.
Hell yeah. Thank y'all for listening.
Squad.